That's right, baby. I'm here to do a video. Yeah, 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 yeah. I'm finally doing a video, you guys. I've been saying it for literally like 6 years. I'm gonna do a video. I'm gonna do a video. I wanted to do a makeup video, but I was like, fuck it. Let me just do any type of video. Let me just do it. So I put a poll up on Instagram and I asked everybody, would you rather see a video of my birth story, my labor and delivery, or do you want to see a video of my current living situation with my ex and my baby's father? But surprisingly, everybody said labor and delivery. They want to hear all the gore and all the juicy stuff. So hope you guys are prepared for it because it's graphic and you know I'm not going to hold back and you know I'm going to tell the truth. So let's get into this video.
I just gave birth to a human being with no medication. The worst ever.
Anyways, though that last month of pregnancy, it was just like end of the summer, or you know what? Actually, that week that I gave birth, it was like 100 degrees every single freaking day of that week. I feel like my walls are like clay and it was just retaining all the heat. Whatever. Long story short, I was ready to give birth on that first due date. So I was willing to do anything that I could to, oh, come on, Sadies. Get it together. I was looking up everything to give birth. Everything and anything. I was eating balsamic. I was bouncing on balls. I was walking up hills. I was walking in general, which I didn't do at all during my pregnancy. I was everything. Eating spicy food, trying to have sex with my boyfriend who really didn't want to have sex with me because I was like 200 pounds. Well, scratch that. We didn't try that, but everything. And I didn't want to try the castor oil because everyone swears by castor oil, because I did hear a couple of things that were like, maybe it's not so good. And also I heard that if you take castor oil when you're not ready to give birth, it's all bad. It's just a shitty mess. Literally, you're going to shit your ass, puke your brains out, and there's going to be no baby until it's ready. So I tried everything before I eventually was like, fuck this, I'm trying the castor oil. So it is the evening of October 30th. What is the day before? It was the day before Halloween. Mischief night, whatever. So I guess wanted to cause some mischief. I went to Rite Aid. I got a bottle of castor oil and I took the 2 tablespoons, and everyone was saying, you know, you're supposed to have these cramps, you're supposed to puke maybe, and you're gonna have all this reaction to it, and then you'll go into labor. So I'm expecting this shitty mess, this shitty labor, literally, and I got nothing. None of that happened. I didn't go to the bathroom. I got like gas cramps, but it wasn't like, oh my god, I have to go to the bathroom now cramps, like, you know what I mean? So I take the castor oil, excuse me. I take the castor oil and pretty much nothing happened that night. I go to bed. I'm kind of upset because I'm like expecting to go into labor. I took the castor oil, I was bouncing on the ball, walking around, and nothing happened. I took it about maybe like 12 o'clock at night. So they said that it should start working. I think everyone was saying like within like 4 hours, whatever. So I had no cramps, didn't have to go to the bathroom, nothing. Go to bed. Wake up at 9:30, or I wake up at like 9:15 in the morning, and I had a little bit of gas cramp, so I was like, let me maybe try to go to the bathroom. This story, by the way, is a lot of TMI, but whatever. So basically, I had some cramps, and I was like, let me try to go to the bathroom, and it was really nothing. It was just felt like gas cramps, and if you're a guy, it kind of feels like you have to take a big shit, if you guys want to know like what it feels like. And if you're a girl, it takes like it feels like you have to take a big shit with period cramps. Does that make sense? I feel like everybody's experienced that. I don't know, maybe it's just me, but whatever. So basically I was in labor. It was 9:30 when I realized I was in labor, and I just started having cramps that would not go away, and they started progressively getting worse and worse. So right before, usually tell you, you know, once you go into labor, just try to stick it out as long as you can at home. I talked to quite a few people prior to going into labor, and the last person I talked to, she told me about her amazing birth, and she told me to look up these breathing techniques, and she did something called hypnobirthing, which is basically like a painless birth without medication. You basically like hypnotize yourself or get yourself in a meditative state and are just calm, and it's actually kind of creepy watching people. I'm all for it, by the way, I'm all for it, but watching people give birth, if you go on YouTube and look up hypnobirthing or hypnobirth, like, they're just silent. They show no anything of pain or anything throughout their labor, and then they just give birth like silently, and they're like overly calm. It's kind of creepy. It's like really anticlimactic and weird, but whatever. So I talked to this lady, and she had this amazing birth, and she's like, look up these breathing techniques and blah blah blah. Let me tell you, once you're in labor, everything that you learn is out the fucking window. I spent months looking at breathing technique, Lamaze and blah blah blah, and all the hypnobirthing, even, because I wanted to try everything. Once those cramps hit and those surges or contractions, whatever you call them, hit, you're like, fuck this, get me to the hospital, get me some pain medication. I want an epidural now, motherfucker, because that shit is just like too much. It's too much. It's the worst pain you could ever think of. But at first, like, you could kind of like get yourself through it, but by the time, for me, I was ready to go to the hospital, I couldn't even walk 2 steps without being like, so I'm in labor, I'm dehydrated because of the castor oil, so I'm trying to chug water, I'm trying to stay at home for as long as possible, because if you're not, I think it's 3 or 4 centimeters, they're just gonna send you home anyways. So in my head, I'm like 1 or 2 centimeters, but I'm in excruciating pain. I'm not thinking I'm in active labor, and my boyfriend's like, come on, let's just go, let's just push through this. Like, if we have to come back, we'll come back, but let's at least go get you checked out. So we get in the car, I'm in so much pain, I can't sit on my rear end. So I'm squatting in the front seat, holding on to the chair, like, if you can imagine that. And I seriously felt, it was a 17-minute drive. I felt like it was like an hour and 17 minutes, and I felt like he was taking every sharp turn and everything that he could take. I felt like he was hitting. I felt like he was just going psychotic, driving psychotically, and just not even taking in consideration that I'm in labor right now. The day that I went into labor, or maybe it was the night before, my gas got shut off. So I'm a mess, basically, because we have no hot water in the house. I can't take a shower. I have dirty ass feet. I'm hairy everywhere. My armpit hair was probably like 1 inch long, because that last month of pregnancy, you're just like, fuck it, I don't care. Can't see anything to shave, so why do it? You know what I mean? So I'm basically a mess. Like, just my hair was literally so knotted. It had like a big dread in the back, and I have dirty feet. I'm hairy all over. I stink. I couldn't get in the shower like I wanted to. And the gas people weren't supposed to come till like later that day. So we didn't have till later that day. So we just go to the hospital as is. I fucking stunk. It was awful. So we get to the hospital, and they get me a wheelchair, and I'm in so much pain. I'm like, I can't. I'm not sitting in this wheelchair. Let's just walk to wherever we need to go. So thank you, America, for not giving us free health care, because I had to get state insurance, and the state insurance, the hospital that I was allowed to go to, didn't give me my own room to labor in. So I was in a room with, I think there was 1 or 2 other people who were also in labor on the same day. So when they put me in the room, well, I kind of was like sectioned off. I did have like my own section. They were in another room that they later moved me to, whatever. So whatever, we get there and I'm in so much pain. The nurse, mind you, there was about 3 nurses who none of them spoke like proper English. There was a huge language barrier between us all. And there was just, when you're in that much pain, you just want pain medication. And I'm trying to explain to them like pain medication, and they're trying to explain to me like we need to check and see like how dilated you are. If you're not dilated enough, we have to send you home. I'm in so much pain. I'm like, fuck this. I don't want anyone to put their hands in my kulu and feel around and check to see my dilation level. Like, please just give me the pain medication. I'm yelling and screaming at this point. And finally I get on the table. Everyone calms me down. I get on the table. She checks me. I'm thinking I'm going to be like 2 centimeters dilated. No, I'm almost 6 and my water is about to break. Now, it's 11. I think we got there at like 11 o'clock. So it's like 11:15. So from 9:30 to 11:15, I must have dilated to almost 6 centimeters, which is like, that's really fast. Most people you hear of are in labor for like 20 hours, or especially like your first child, like most people are in labor for hours, sometimes even days. So I'm just like, okay, can I get an epidural? At this point, I was saying my whole pregnancy, I don't want an epidural. I'm going to do it naturally. Like, I can do it. It's a, you know, a right of womanhood and blah, blah, blah. When I got to that hospital, I was begging and pleading for anything and everything that they could have given me, I would have taken for pain. So the nurse, because there's a language barrier, she's like struggling. She like forgot her code or something to get into the medical drawer. I'm screaming like, please, please. And my boyfriend is also like, hey, can like, come on, like, can somebody help her? Like, in your head, you're thinking like they're gonna move faster. Like, I'm in labor. Like, don't they know like I need this now? You know what I mean? Like, I was in so much pain at that point. It was like white noise. Like, I just could not even. So I'm asking them for pain medication. She can't get the goddamn code to the freaking whatever. And the lady has the audacity to come over and bring me 2 Tylenol extra strength. Tylenol? I'm in excruciating pain. I feel like my body is being ripped open from the inside out, and you bring me Tylenol? I was so offended. I'm yelling and screaming. I'm swearing. Not only did she offend me by giving me Tylenol, she also offended me by telling me to watch my language. Like, do you not know that I feel like I'm dying? I really thought that I was going to die at one point, and so did my boyfriend. Like, it was that bad. Like, he literally was asking the doctor, like, is she okay? Is she going to be okay? So, they cannot find this stupid code to get me any type of medication. So, she gives me an IV because I told her I was dehydrated from the castor oil. So, what they could give me was like this anti-anxiety medication. This medication, I have to figure out what it was called. It was the worst. It was like taking like 10 Xanax at once, but like also being able to feel every single ounce of pain, but not like vocalize it. It was crippling because I felt like I couldn't express how much pain I was in. All I kept saying and all I could say was, I feel it still, I still feel like pain, I'm in pain. Not only did it make me introverted, it also has a side effect which makes you hallucinate. So I basically felt like I was on the worst acid trip that you could think of. It was so bad. And that lasted for like an hour, and then it slowly started wearing off. And I got there at 11:30, so by 3 o'clock, I'm begging them, please, can I have this epidural? Please, can I have this epidural? And they wheeled me into another room and checked me. At that point, 3 hours later, or what, maybe it was like 4 hours later, Well, it was actually right before 3. I'm sorry. I'm all mixed up with my time. It was right before 3, maybe around 2:30. They wheel me into the other room to check me. And she checks me and I'm already 9 centimeters. Now, the surgeon who gives the epidurals is giving a C-section to someone who was there prior to me. So I'm waiting, begging for this epidural that I swore I wouldn't get my whole pregnancy. And 2-3 hours pass and I'm 9 centimeters dilated. So I start crying at this point because I'm like, well, not going to be able to get it now because you can't get it, I think, after like 7 or 8 centimeters. And my boyfriend's standing next to me cheering like, she's coming, she's going to come, she's almost here. Okay, so now I'm like shook because I'm like, well, my water hasn't broke. My doctor's not here yet, but he ended up getting there minutes later. And I'm not going to be able to get an epidural. Reality hit me hard. It was really scary, traumatic. I'm like, okay, I'm about to, I mean, at that point, you just kind of have to own it and be like, I'm having this kid without medication. That's just what's happening. There's no stopping it. Let's do this. So you kind of have to put your big girl pants on in that moment. So my doctor comes in. My doctor's hilarious. He's just so, like, blasé about life. And he's just like, did your water break yet? Like, he just seems so uninterested in the whole thing. I'm on all fours, and he's like, that's how you want to give birth? And I was like, yes. Like, please don't force me to go on my back. Something about, I didn't have back labor, but something about being on my back, like, hurt my butt, basically. Like, that's what labor, I didn't feel any, like, vaginal pain until I was, her head was out. I felt all the pain in my butt, which is, like, really weird. So my doctor comes, and he puts his hand inside of me, and I felt something, like, he, like, pinched something, and all of a sudden, like, it was like a gallon of water came out. Like, it was so much water. And that was probably at 3. And within, I think, like 15 minutes, I started pushing uncontrollably. Like, something just came over my body. And I was still on all fours. And they have, like, the baby monitor on you. So I guess her heart rate started going down. So they were like, okay, like, let's get her on her back. Like, everyone kind of started panicking. Like, I could feel in the room, like, there was, like, a little bit of panic. And the nurse is looking at my boyfriend, asking, like, can we give her an emergency C-section if we need to? I'm, like, freaking out. I'm in so much pain. People are talking to me, and I literally can't. I can't even understand. Like, I'm looking at my boyfriend and he's saying words to me and I can't make out what he's saying. Like, I was in another universe. That's how I felt. That's how much pain I was in at this point. 10 centimeters. That means my cervix was like this big. Okay. And it was just, it felt like, honestly, it felt like my butt was this big too. It was weird. It was like I felt all the pain in my butt. They're just like telling me to get on my back. I'm freaking out. And my body just takes over and starts pushing, but like a push like you've never felt before. Like, I was pushing so hard, I popped like so many blood vessels in both my eyes were bloodshot for like 2 weeks after I gave birth. And I'm just pushing and pushing, and I can't, I just felt like I couldn't feel like where she was, because it just feels like pressure. Like, you can't, like, you don't know what's happening unless someone's telling you. So finally I get on my back. I'm pushing, and the nurse has her hand like in me, like doing something like this to my vagina. My boyfriend's telling me to push. His voice is so fucking annoying. Like, and I'm still like have like some side effects of this medication that they gave me. So I'm just like can't express how I'm feeling. All I could do is push. I'm in just shock, like, oh my God, this is really happening. And my doctor, I remember looking down, like, because my legs were up, and I remember lifting my head up, and my doctor was just like looking like at my vagina, like so uninterested, just like, come on, let's get this over with. Like, I think at one point he came in the room after my water broke, and he's like, did you have the baby yet? And I'm like, you're the one who's supposed to deliver it. And the nurse is like, she was doing something with her hand for mad long. It was weird. It was all crazy, and it just hurt so fucking much. It was just traumatic. It was a traumatic ass experience. But then you're in so much pain, it's just like almost spiritual. Like, you just are like, fuck, I just gotta do this, and everything's just like light and airy, but like all you could focus on is that pain. And it's really a surreal experience. So finally they start saying, or I could hear my boyfriend saying, I could see her head, I could see her head. And God, it was so painful, that part, her head coming out was so painful, and I just felt it come out. He said it looked like her head was this small, and then all of a sudden her whole face came out, like and I felt that part. Oh my God, I felt that part. And then they got her out real quick. I felt everything just coming out, and usually they put the baby on you, but when she came out, because the medication they had given me, they had to take her to the little side table almost immediately. Like, everyone will tell you, like, oh, right after you have the baby, like, the pain is gone and you don't feel anything. I'm like, that was not my experience at all, because I felt everything for like days and weeks after. Like, just thinking about it, it was just, it was too much. But you know what, at the end of the day, after about an hour and just seeing your baby, I literally like forgot about my whole pregnancy. Like, you're just, that feeling of being so in love and everything is just unexplainable. Like, you can't understand that until you have your baby. Like, I remember thinking when they gave her to me, it was like minutes after, but I remember thinking when they gave her to me, she was so perfect. Like, she came out so perfect. Like, some babies come out all slimy and weird, and my baby came out pristine, like not a drop of anything on her. And she was just so beautiful, and she was so perfect. And it's just like you wait so long, and then you have your baby, and they're just perfect. It was the best. It was the best, worst experience of my life. It was, woo, I got big. I got big. I'm gonna put some pictures in this video throughout. I mean, the whole experience was traumatic. It was psychotic. It was unbearable, but I did it. I did it. I really did it. I can't believe I had a birth without any epidural, without any pain medication except for like Tylenol. And it's just like, I can't believe how strong women are. Man, I just feel like this is what our bodies are supposed to do. And I did it, and now I have an amazing little, let me go get her. Wait one sec, let me go grab that little nugget. I did it, I did it, I made this little baby. Oh yeah, 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 look at this little baby. Yeah, yeah, little baby, yeah, yeah. I made this little cute little dolly. Oh, and I delivered her. I did this. She's so precious, guys. This is the best gift I've ever had in my life. Literally, this is the best thing, the best creation I've ever in my life. I'm so grateful. And you know what? Looking at her at the end of the day, it really was all worth it. It's just the best feeling being a mom. I never in a million years thought that I would be a mom. I'm a mom. I'm a mom, you guys. I'm a mom. I never thought I would enjoy it so much too. I love breastfeeding. I love just the little time and little snuggles we have together. It's just amazing. So grateful. It was worth it. It was a year of hell, but I mean, look at this outcome. Now I get to have a lifetime of happiness. So would I do it again? Absolutely. But you know what? Next time I'm getting that goddamn epidural. So that's that. Thank you so much for stopping by my channel. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up, leave a comment, subscribe. I try to cut down this video as much as possible. It is kind of a long story, but if you watch it in its entirety, thank you so much. Just leave a comment, give it a thumbs up, and subscribe to my channel, and I will be putting out content at least once a week, vlog style like this, so stay tuned for that. And also I will be starting my makeup tutorials soon, so also stay tuned for that. Thanks so much, guys. Have a great day.